by Abdul Karim from Mumbai, India. I was very sad to read the news that OffCom, the regulatory authorities in UK, have imposed a fine of £300,000 on Peace TV. What did you say that they put such a huge fine? And that's a very good question. And as I said, that we don't have to believe everything what the media says. And I've read these articles that have come in UK, it has come in India, it has come in Malaysia, that £300,000 have been fined on the channels by Dr Zakir Naik, and my photo is there. And and all the news that I read, it gave an impression that Dr Zakir Naik said something on the channel for which the fine has been put. Let me clarify to you that this fine has not been put because of my speeches. Yes, Peace TV, alhamdulillah, I'm the founder, and these fines were put on two statements, one made on the Peace TV Urdu in UK and the other is on Peace TV English. And though the news media, especially in India, oh, see Dr Zakir Naik, now it is proved he's promoting terrorism, he's giving hate speech, and for his hate speech he was fined £300,000. All this is their own addition. These fines were not put because of my speeches, it was because of an Urdu speaker, and his name is Sheikh Ashfaq Salfi, and mashallah, he is a very knowledgeable person. He, in his talk, he mentioned the punishment for people involved with black magic. And black magic is considered as the third major sin in Islam. So what he was doing is giving an Islamic view of black magic and the punishment, which didn't go very well with the Ofcom, and they imposed a fine of £200,000 for this particular sentence of Ashfaq Salfi, Sheikh Ashfaq Salfi. The other is a speaker, Imam Qasim from USA, and while he was criticizing the homosexuals, for that criticism they imposed a fine of £100,000 for his criticism. Let me tell you at the outset, alhamdulillah, never ever have I been fined anytime, anywhere in the world for any of my speeches, alhamdulillah. But the media gives the impression as though, okay, now he's been fined, etc., etc. And let me give you the background. That Peace TV started internationally all over the world in January 2006. And officially on the B Sky B in UK, we went on air on the B Sky B in 2007. And within the couple of years, it became the most popular Islamic satellite TV in UK. So much so that the head of the counter-terrorism department, Charles Farr, he sent a person and he approached me and he said that, can you help us to reach those Muslims who we cannot reach, because you are very popular, you are the most popular Muslim speaker in UK and your reach is very high, so can you help us? And I told them, yes, I know that there are some misunderstanding about Islam in the UK government, and I'm also aware that there is a misunderstanding amongst the Muslims also. And I told him, I'm willing to help you as long as you do not ask me to do anything against the Quran and the Sunnah, number one, and number two, I don't want your money. That was in 2009. But later on, next year, maybe after a few months, the government changed and the Labour lost and the Conservative came to power in 2010. And the moment they came to power, at that time, the Home Secretary was Theresa May, who later on became the Prime Minister, and now she had to resign. She went out of the way to show that she was very strict, and she asked that who is the most famous speaker, Muslim speaker in UK, and my name popped up. Okay, fine. We have to prevent him, we have to stop him, we have to extradite him and, exclude him, and so on and so forth. So she made every effort, and I was supposed to give a series of lectures in UK, and she prevented me from coming in, and that's the story. So what we come to know here, that the people in the government servant was the same. Charles Farr, the head of the anti-terrorism M5, he objected, saying, how can you prevent Dr. Zakir from coming? He doesn't promote terrorism. But no. So it is what we realized, more of a political move. it wasn't because I was promoting terrorism. They started picking on my lectures and getting my sentence out of context, and they prevented me from coming. We did a case against them. We won in the lower court, but when we went to the court of appeal, to fight with the government is difficult to win. However much honest they will be, it's difficult. After that, since 2010, they have been trying the level best to stop Peace TV, and they have not left any stone unturned, the UK government. But Alhamdulillah, because there is an option where we can go to the court, so we have been fighting cases with them, and Alhamdulillah, for the past 10 years, since the time they have been trying to stop us, we have continuing broadcasting, mashallah. And till lately, mashallah, we were broadcasting for about 13 years. 3 years very smoothly. After 3 years, they have been after us, and Alhamdulillah, we have been conveying the message. Though UK, the viewership is, according to me, approximately 1% of our world viewership. Maybe 1.5%, 2%, not more than that. Our total global viewership of Peace TV, as estimated in 2016, was 200 million. In UK, maybe 3 million, 4 million, so maybe 2%. That's it, not more than that. So, in terms of volume, it is a very small but we want to continue because it's a Western country. UK has its advantages, has its name, so we want to continue, and we did continue, mashallah. But in the last 10 years, they have been picking up on various of my speeches and trying to prove it is illegal, it's not correct. But Alhamdulillah, so far they have not been able to put a single fine on any of my speeches. We have used lawyers, we replied to them, but they were successful a few years earlier to take objection on one of the statement of Dr. Israr Ahmed. And may Allah grant him Jannah, Rahimullah. He is a very great Dai, mashallah. And they took objection on speech. And after that, they have been harassing us, but we have been continuing. As a person, we have to clarify our stand. And lately, about maybe 1.5 years back, or maybe 2 years, they took objection on 5 in one day. And these objections are not taken by the viewers. Previously, in the first 3 years, maybe once in a year we had objection by a viewer, we used to reply and there was no problem at all. But lately, they have been monitoring our channel and trying their best to pick out something which is, according to them, is against law. So about 2 years back, they picked up 5 of the speeches, part of the speeches objecting, out of which these 2 speeches they have put fine on. That was not immediately. They gave us and it wasn't a remark made by any viewer. It is by the authorities themselves, they are monitoring. And one day they picked up 5 and they asked us and we replied, and out of these 5 or 6 what they objected to, 2 just a couple of weeks earlier, after about maybe 1.5, 2 years, they finally imposed a fine. And the highest fine they can impose is £250,000, which they have not done to any channel in the past. So initially on the Urdu speech of Sheikh Ashfaq Selfi, they imposed a fine of £250,000 and we wrote a letter, then they reduced it to £200,000. Let me tell you the background. That because we were being harassed so much and our time was being wasted, our money was being wasted, we got legal advice from our lawyers that if we, instead of being on the OffCom, we have a license for the OffCom, 2 licenses, Peace TV English and Peace TV Urdu, if we give this license up and come through the Spanish license, the OffCom regulatory will not be able to harass you. So we applied for the Spanish license, we got the Spanish license, and then after that we voluntarily gave in mid-November 2019, about 6 months ago, we voluntarily gave up both the license of the OffCom for the Sky B, Peace TV English and Peace TV Urdu, because we already received the license of Peace TV Chinese, for the Peace TV English and Peace TV Urdu from the Spanish companies. Now, because they're keeping a tap on us, they came to know that we have applied for Peace TV English and Urdu to Spanish companies. They used their contacts, and within a couple of weeks, they were able to take away our license. They could not take away our license of the UK because we were always fighting them in the court, but we did not know that they could request the Spanish country to Spanish government and laid allegations against us. So a Spanish license was cancelled. So we were absolutely we were in the dark. So we voluntarily gave our license up. After we voluntarily gave the license up, then later on, they imposed the fine on us. And but naturally, when we voluntarily gave up our license and we want to liquidate our company, so where's the question of anyone imposing a fine on a person who's already given up the license? They can, not that they cannot, but because we gave up the license, after several days, now they're imposing fine on the query which was raised more than 2 years back. Knowing very well that now we will not be fighting. Why should we fight? Because the company is closed. And we've already given the company for liquidation because there's no activity in that company which holds the license. And they put the highest fine, £250,000, which has never been put to any channel in the history of UK. Then when we gave a letter, they reduced it to £200,000, and never before have they even put a fine of £200,000 on any of the channels in the past. So they are going out of their way to try and take out some fault in us. And now after we have given up the license, they impose the fine and they've publicized it, and the media, because Dr Zakir Naik is there, it is hot topic, it is good for the TRP. So most of the media in different parts of the world, including India and Malaysia, they picked it up and they're highlighting as though, Dr Zakir Naik said something and now he's fined. No, I did not say. The fine is not because of me. And even these people who said they were presenting the Islamic view. According to me, I feel the view that was presented by Sheikh Ashfaq Salfi regarding the third major sign, magic in Islam is haram, is correct. And I have decided today morning, and I've told my team to contact the legal team, and now inshallah we will challenge the fine of the UK government in the UK court. We'll have a judicial review. We'll challenge this fine, though it's not on me, it's on other speakers. If the company is liquidated, the company cannot pay, so we will not go in any financial loss, even if you don't challenge. And that's what they thought. But now I've decided, inshallah, we will see the legal options of challenging this fine in having a judicial review to see to it that they are not able to unnecessarily take it as a precedent. So this was the background. When we are in the field of dawah and when you get success, there's bound to be hurdles. The more successful you are, the more hurdle will you find. And a da'i should strive harder. And alhamdulillah, summa alhamdulillah, it's Allah's help, Allah's blessings, Allah's mercy, that mashallah, Allah's help is keeping on increasing much more than before. And inshallah, we'll continue doing a dawah, though we have now, in the last few months, our telecast in UK has stopped on the BSkyB. But the good news is that since Ramadan started, we have started going even on the social media, and I wasn't aware that the second largest public or third largest from any country, it is UK. And on the Facebook it said 3.5% from UK. With 1 million people came, 3.5%, mashallah, 35,000 people watching. It's good numbers, mashallah. So Allah has other ways, and this is much cheaper. So we will continue delivering the message of peace, and inshallah continuing telling the world, all over the world, inshallah, more than 200 countries, through satellites, through our social media, through Facebook, through YouTube, through Instagram, we'll deliver the message of peace so that people know what is the real message of Islam and what does this religion of peace want to convey to the world.